Hey, what up everybody, Stevie Breach coming to you today. On my lunch, I listened to the Wrestling Observer podcast. There was a lot of talk about the UFC show that was last night, but the back half of the show after the 35-minute mark was all about wrestling. They ended out the show with the main topic of discussion being the TV deal that is coming up for WWE with Sci-Fi and for the USA Network. It appears that Vince McMahon is shopping the WWE TV shows as sports again instead of sports entertainment, with trying to drive up the price. He's been in his quarterly meetings with the stock people. I'm a stock owner myself, but I personally don't go on the calls. I could if I wanted to, but honestly I don't even know how, and I'm not sure that I would waste my time with it. Some people go on and they record them, they upload them onto YouTube, so if you ever want to hear one of these stock calls, you're able to look around for them and find them. Most of the time I just read the stories that are put up on the dirt sheets. A lot of the sheets put up the notes that come out of there, and some of the stuff is just sort of, it is what it is, and some stuff is the truth of what things is. But I mean, he's gone in there and he's been talking about this WWE network for a couple of years now, and it's always 12 months away. How many times is he gonna say 12 months away before he finally just says, you know what, it's just not gonna happen at this point? I don't think that the WWE network is something that is gonna be in our future, but it appears that Vince McMahon has it in his mind that the WWE is sports, and that a sports network does need to try to be in the bidding for Raw or SmackDown. Can you really think of ESPN putting in a bid to put Raw or SmackDown on Mondays or Fridays? I just honestly just can't see ESPN wanting to do it. They've made so many jokes about wrestling in its time, and they're just better live TV that's on there. I mean, if you think about, I know that Vince has talked about football before, but honestly, his show was on Monday night. ESPN carries Monday Night Football. There's no way in the world that they're going to bump the NFL contract, which is worth a whole lot more than WWE deal is ever going to be worth, to put that on there. And if you remember back when you were a kid, the USA Network used to carry tennis. It used to carry the Westminster Dog Show, and they used to, due to contract reasons, used to have to bump Monday Night Raw. Much like when TNT carried WCW Nitro, it had to bump Nitro to carry the NBA playoffs. It just was the way things are supposed to be. Most of the time with TNT, basketball was only played on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights, but when there's NBA playoffs on, there would be normally a month without any Nitro, because they play the playoffs on Monday nights, and TNT covered those games. It was a weird time to be a wrestling fan, but at least we had Thunder, right? Yeah, I guess not. But, so that just me, I just crossed them off the list. I think that all in all, WWE just needs to stick with what they got. They're on USA. They tried going over to Spike once. More on that in a minute. They came back to where they were, and I think it just works. USA Network is carried on almost every local cable thing you can buy. The lowest rating of cable, know you're going to get USA, and then you got it. Sci-Fi was a little bit weird when they started carrying ECW, but Sci-Fi as a network is transformed into carrying more regular programming and TV shows. It's not all about zombies and Frankenstein and Dracula like it once was back in the day. It just sort of fits in on Friday nights there. If you think about it, if they're trying to get some sort of a sports network to carry them, if they even go to Fox Sports, it's just, honestly, you can think of how much of a joke that is. I know TNA is a lesser company, but TNA was actually paying for their time with Fox Sports, whether that like 2003, 2004, when they first got off a pay-per-view and they were actually on cable TV, and they were paying for the time they were on, and they would bump the show. You never really knew what time. I don't even know what that show was called. Was it called TNA Impact at that time? I'm not even sure what it was called when it was on Fox Sports, but the show was never on. Every time that I caught it was just flipping through the channels and, oh shit, TNA's on. There was no real set time to what was going to be, because they were always showing some volleyball or gymnastics that always seemed to be more important, and that would bump the Impact show. You couldn't even set a DVR, because just sporadically, oh shit, we got to put this tape on, and there they are, live from the Impact Zone. The one thing that did come out of this was that would Vince McMahon take the money from Spike to put SmackDown on Spike TV. They could show it on Friday nights as the lead into Bellator. It would be something that they could really use to help Bellator out. As it on its last legs, the company Spike TV bought them to try and beef up their Friday night viewing, and it's just not getting the numbers that they once thought they were. They're pumping into money. You can see with the signing of Rampage Jackson, Tito Ortiz. Maybe King Mo wasn't the best guy to put in that slot, but he was the first, I guess you can say star that they put over there. But you can think of what else is on Spike TV. Could Vince McMahon once again kill off his competition by moving SmackDown? Once again, I think this will be the fourth network it's been on, with them being on the UPN, the CW, the Sci-Fi, and then on to Spike. Spike TV would be putting a lot of money into a WWE contract, and you got to think of, are they going to be, well, WWE is honestly going to come to the table and say that they want to be the exclusive wrestling network, I guess a wrestling company that'll be on there, and I think that'll be the death of TNA if Vince does sign this deal. I know it's been rumored that Vince McMahon has been sort of a backdoor contributor to TNA, trying to keep them alive. I think most people think that because of what he was doing with ECW, helping along his competition to keep them alive. But what killed ECW? No TV deal. He killed them off by signing his record big money deal to bring Monday Night Raw over to Spike TV, to try and make Spike TV. At the time, I believe they were just the country music network, but that changed into Spike, and then Spike was branding itself as the Man Channel. Which I guess you can still see with them having, the UFC reruns, and now they have Bellator, TNA, and there's no Lifetime Women's Network crap on that channel. But could Vince McMahon do his evil laugh and kill off TNA? That is one thing that could come out of this TV deal. That is probably the most important thing out of it. Will Vince McMahon, not take the money and keep TNA alive? Because basically, without Spike TV, there is no TNA. There is no deal that's going to be out there that's going to be able to save them. They have to have television in order to support themselves. There's no way they can support just off live shows. It is Spike TV keeping them alive. And without that, they are nothing. So, Vince, what you gonna do, buddy? What you gonna do, brother?